What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Madden 21 connected player lock franchise series. As we're player locking, if you guys do not know, we're player locking with Owen Phillips, who is the quarterback, as he is the quarterback for the New York Jets, and the Jets will be traveling out to Baltimore, the city of crab cakes, the state of crab cakes, to take on the 4-3 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have won their last 2 games after losing 3 straight games. The Jets have won 3 straight games after starting out the year 1-3. They're trying to get their 4th win in a row, but this is a very talented Ravens team. The weather here today, it's a beautiful day in Baltimore, Maryland. 64 degrees, 5 to 10 mile per hour wind, so really the wind should not be much of a factor here at all. You know, it's going to be gusting up to about 16 miles per hour, but the wind should not be much of a factor. Here is the league leader in passing yards, Owen Phillips. How about that? The league leader in passing yards. And he has 2 very young receivers that have shown a lot of promise over these last couple of games. And there goes Ronald Jones. And I mean, the whole pure definition of nowhere to go has been Ronald Jones. This offensive line has been banged up throughout this season. Noah Lockhart is missing another game. I believe this is now his 2nd game he's missed. I think in total over the last 2 years, he's missed 15 games now. And 3rd and 6, and that is Owen Phillips finding Christopher Herndon the 4th. And that's going to be enough for a first down. We need Noah to stay healthy, man. 1st down 10, and Ben Colvin, he shakes off a tackle trying to bounce it to the outside as he picks up a gain of 5. I think I would much rather him cut it up inside. But he bounced it, shook off a tackle, picked up a good gain. But you can't just keep relying upon that for success. Ben Colvin does not pick up anything. I think he actually ended up losing a yard. 3rd down and 4, a poor throw on the screen pass. And the Jets got nothing. And this is going to be a punt from Braden Mann. 4th and 4 is going to lead to a beautiful punt from Braden Mann. T.Y. Hill was back to return the punt, and he didn't get a chance. And the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, who's having an excellent year, didn't do anything on their first offensive possession. So both teams punt the football to open up the game. And I think the key to this game is going to have to be the guys up front. And I keep saying it, and it's the same thing for every game. The guys up front have got to do a better job, and on that play, they did not do a good job right there. They got to do a good job. They have got to do a good job. 2nd down 10 from the 30-yard line. It's going to be a handoff to Ronald Jones. He does cut it up the field. And it's going to be a gain of 12 yards for Ronald Jones. And that is going to be enough to move the chains. 1st down 10 from the 42-yard line. And there is some movement. And it's going to be the former Raven making his homecoming, Orlando Brown, who was the one who moved on the play. 1st and 15 from the 37-yard line. And a high throw for Deontay Burnett. And this one is going to fall incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 41-yard line. And it's going to be a handoff to Ronald Jones. And he could have gotten a lot more yards if he would have just cut up in the hole between the center and the guard. But he didn't do that. 3rd down and 8, and Ronald Jones can't. No, I think that's LaMichael Pirine, excuse me. He couldn't stay in bounds. Now, that was a punt for the Jets, and now the Ravens have to punt. And the Jets get good field position, 1st down and 10. Owen in the empty set. Seems like the Ravens going to send some pressure, but Owen still fires a dart down the middle of the field to Denzel Mims, who is having a breakout season. An absolute breakout season. They let go of a Pro Bowl receiver last year in favor of Denzel Mims. And I think as of right now, I think many people would say, on 2nd down and 8, Denzel Mims makes the catch for a 1st down. I think many people would say, I think the Jets have made a pretty good decision. Obviously, we're only at the halfway point at this point, and first down and 10 is you see someone's down and hurt, but there's a flag on the field. This is going to get called on holding on the backup center, Ben Jones, who's filling in for Noah Lockhart, who's hurt. And Mekhi Becton's now shaking up on the play. We'll get an update on him as soon as possible. And Justice Jackson drops the ball again. I don't know how many more opportunities does he think he's going to be able to get. He doesn't get many snaps to begin with. But on second down and 19, there goes Rojo with a catch of 6. And that's going to be it for the first quarter. But I don't know how many chances Justice Jackson thinks he's going to consistently get. If you can't show that you can't make plays, I don't really see, a place on this team for him. Owen threw it away, and Tyler Taylor, who has kicked it well over these last couple of games, and he's not forced to deal with the wind like he did the last 3 weeks. And the field goes up, and the field goal is good, and it's a 3-7 ball game, in favor of the Ravens after they just scored a touchdown. But I just think the key to this game is going to have to be the guys up front in the running game. First down 10, and there goes Owen Phillips. They did try to send some pressure. It didn't work, and it's going to be a first down and 10. First down 10 from the 35-yard line, and Ben Jones got absolutely destroyed. There's nothing Ronald Jones could do on that play. And that's why I said, I feel like it's both. And second down 13, Ronald Jones makes the catch. Now it's a 3rd and 7. Third down 7 from the 39-yard line, and Owen, you can't miss that throw. You can't. Now, Lamar Jackson threw a pick to Marcus Williams. He was the one that picked it off. And the Jets couldn't get a snap off. You gotta be kidding me. That's on the quarterback, man. You can't have that coming right off the field, man. Right onto the field, excuse me. First down and goal. Ronald Jones only picks up 1. Second down and goal from the 5-yard line. Owen under center. He's gonna fire over the middle field, and Justice Jackson dropped it again. How many drops has this been over these last couple of weeks? How many? How many times has this guy dropped the football? Third down and goal, and Owen misfired. And that should have been a touchdown. The last 2 passes should have been touchdowns. And on fourth down and goal, they were aggressive, and they didn't get it. And at the 1-yard line, the Jets get nothing. That might come back to bite them before this game is done. First down 10, a gain of 11, and Ronald Jones is shaking up on the play. He has not had a good game so far. Now he's hurt. And I wouldn't blame all of his everything that's happened so far today on him. I just think there's definitely been some other things that have just really impacted the game. And Ben Colvin only picks up a gain of 2. Ben Colvin is going to get the carry, and that's a gain of 3 yards. That makes it 3rd and 4. I guess 3.5, let's call it. 3rd and 4 from the 28-yard line. Here comes Owen Phillips over the middle of the field, and that is Matthew Foster, I believe, making his first catch of the day. He got absolutely smacked. But it's going to be first down 10 inside the red zone. And Ben Colvin nowhere to go. Not anywhere to go. And now this offensive line doesn't have Noah Lockhart, does not even have Mekhi Becton. And we'll give an injury update in just a second. Mekhi Becton actually, after this next play, 3rd down and 3 from the 10-yard line. And it's only a gain of 2. It's 4th and 1 from the 9-yard line. They're going to be aggressive again. They understand you got to go get touchdowns in a game like this. 4th down and 1. And it's going to be fired to Denzel Mims. He scores. Touchdown. Jets. And New York has finally reached pay dirt, and they take the lead. Great job by Denzel Mims. He won on the route against Marcus Peters, and a good throw from Owen Phillips. And on a day where I said the running game has to be there, it has not been there at all. And there goes Christopher Herndon, but they're still up. They're still up. That's a gain of about 2 yards on the play. Second and 8. And now there's a flag on the field. The pass was caught. And they're going to call this roughing the passer, but... okay. I guess no flag. I guess they picked it up. And 3rd down and 4. And I think this is a good time to mention Mekhi Becton's injury because his replacement just committed a false start. And Mekhi Becton, his season... And not his season, but his day is over. With a rib injury, he is already ruled out and that's a big loss for this offense. As you guys just saw, Matthew Foster picking up a 1st down. Jeff Smith making a catch. 17 of 23 for 132 yards. Owen has had to throw the ball a lot over these last couple of weeks, and he's doing it again here today. He's had to carry this team. Not the team, but this offense. And that's a gain of, that's a solid gain. Solid pickup. Sorry, excuse me. 1st down 10 from the 49-yard line. As on 1st down 10, it's going to be Deontay Burnett. And I think they are going to go up to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a spike. And now 3rd down and inches here. Owen in the high formation. And LaMichael Pirine finds some room. And the second timeout has been used for the New York Jets. Now they can take a shot to the end zone, which I think that's what I would do. But it's just a simple check down over the middle of the field to Christopher Herndon in the 4th. And I think they are very well content just trying to make this a 6-point game. Heading into halftime, as I said, the wind, let's just call it brisk, calm winds. So it's not much of a factor as seen on that kick. The kick was good. It is a 13-7 game as we will head into the halftime break. Honestly, in the first half, man, I think we honestly played a good first half, you know. Again, the running game didn't get going until late. It didn't get going until late. But we've gotten some things going, you know. I'm happy right now. Well, not really, you know. But you guys see the Dolphins got smoked in Las Vegas. There is a big game going on in Jacksonville. The Carolina Panthers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, 5-1 versus 4-2. And also there's a big game north from that game in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Giants are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams 4-2. One team most likely will end up 5-2 unless it's a tie. But like I said, I was about to say, what am I necessarily happy, you know, about this performance? Because really, we should be up like 17-7, 20-7 here in this game. Instead, we're only up by 1 possession. You know, because we really have outplayed the Baltimore Ravens here today. But I think that possession where we didn't score anything when we started at the 1-yard line might very well end up biting us in the butt. And as you guys see, Mekhi Becton, his day is done. His day is over. See you guys in the second half. Welcome to the second half here, everybody, as the Ravens got the football first and didn't do anything with it. So that means it will be the Jets who now have the football, and they're going to open up at the 39-yard line for their first possession here in the second half. I think you got to get the running game going. You got to get the running game going. Owen threw the ball 25 times in the first half. That has got to be different. Now, like I said, and like you guys saw at the end of the first half as we were going over the halftime show, is the simple fact that Mekhi Becton will not be returning for the rest of this game. So now our jobs and now the ability of trying to get the running game going just got a lot harder as Christopher Herndon picks up the first down. That's going to put Owen over 160 yards passing. You know, and I think the offensive line has done a good job in pass protection, but the running game, it's just not been there. First down 10, and you know the first 2 runs of the second half don't do bad at all. Justin Madubuike is shaking up on the play. You know, he's going to be going off onto the sideline and getting checked out by the Ravens medical staff. And here goes Ben Colvin. There goes Ben Colvin up the middle of the field, and that's going to be a gain of 11. As I said, the running game has got to get going, not just for this game, but maybe they can at least take it in to next week And for the rest of the season, there goes Matthew Foster. He hasn't had the game that he has had over the last couple of games. These last couple of games coming into this one has been were amazing, outstanding performances. And on second down 10, Michael Pirine can't really do much with the screen pass. Third down and 7 from the 24-yard line. And here comes the pitch and catch to Christopher Herndon for a gain of 8, and that's going to be enough for a first down. First down 10, 2 receivers to the right side of the field. Owen understanding he's going to hand off to Ben Coven. He's going to find a lane up the middle, and Ben Coven's going to pick up a gain of 13. The running game is seemingly coming alive here in Week 8 in Baltimore, and this could potentially raise a question that might need to be answered during the bye week. And there goes Michael Pirine. He shakes off a hit, and Pirine's ran it well. And it seems like since Ronald Jones has left the field, it seems like the running games came alive. Second down and goal, and Owen's gonna go to the flat. Now Michael Pirine scores his first touchdown of the year. Touchdown, New York. And the Jets take a 2-score lead here in Baltimore. This team, in the first 4 weeks of the season, looked completely inconsistent. But even in this 3-game winning streak, the offense has looked completely inconsistent. But I definitely would say that's one of our better drives of the season. First down 10 from the 25-yard line. Owen, he had multiple guys open. Pressure was coming. He just said, hey, let's go to the flat. Second down and 4 from the 31. It's going to be handled to Ben Coven. He has room. He's on the right sideline, and he's down to the 38-yard line. A gain of 32 yards. Ben Coven and this rushing attack for the Jets has awoken here in the second half in Baltimore, here in Week 8. Now the question is this an epiphany? Is this an anomaly? I don't know. But this team had 50 yards rushing after one half of football against the Ravens defense here in the first half. And you guys just see how Ben Coven, who's not the fastest guy in the world, he definitely isn't. Many people say he is on the slower end of running backs, but that run's going to end the third quarter. And by the way, the Ravens scored a touchdown on their last possession. First down 10 from the 38-yard line. Denzel Mims makes the catch. This hasn't really been the big-time performance he's usually had. Both him and Matthew Foster are on pace to rack up over 1,000 yards this season. And Ben Coven loses 2 yards. Probably this first negative play of the first half. Second down 12 from the 27-yard line. LaMichael Pirine's in the game, and it's going to be LaMichael Pirine making the catch. And Owen's now over 200 yards passing. He threw the ball 25 times in the first half. He's only thrown it 8 times here in the second half. Third down and 3 from the 18-yard line. And Ben Coven, another fantastic run. This running game has awoken here in this second half. And I think the Jets, no matter what happens for the rest of this game, they are hoping that this is not an anomaly. And what has been an anomaly over these last few weeks is Owen potentially turning over the football, even though last week he did throw a pick 6. But he did fumble it on a sack, and there goes Ben Coven once again. And I think that one's a little bit more understandable for Baltimore. They were probably expecting pass. Jets hit him with the run. Third down and 9, seems like they're going to send pressure. They do, but the Jets had an answer, and that was Matthew Foster for the 3rd time this year. Touchdown, New York. And that is Owen's 14th touchdown of the season, 3rd of the afternoon, and the Jets could very well be on their way to pulling off their 4th consecutive win. But the Ravens get a touchdown, and what was that? Daryl Mitchell thought they were setting up a lateral, and the Jets get a touchdown. No, not the Jets. The Ravens get a touchdown. Excuse me. And the Ravens are an extra point away from taking the lead. I don't know. I don't know why he thought that was the smart thing to do. I think maybe they were discussing about maybe setting up a lateral, maybe setting up like good field position, you know, have a better chance of field position, but no one's behind them. Maybe that was partially miscommunication, but I think they told him directly what they were trying to do on this kickoff here. But I mean, Daryl Mitchell, I mean, and if the Jets end up losing this game, they can't end up blaming Daryl Mitchell for why they ended up losing this game. If they do, first down and 10, and no one's open, no one's available, and it's gonna be a throwaway for Owen Phillips. And he hasn't really had a busy second half. He's been efficient. Second down and 10, and Christopher Herndon. Oh, that's a grown man reception right there from Christopher Herndon, the fourth. Third down and 2 from the 35, and that from 37. That's gonna be a loss of 1. And it seemed like to me, off that one carry, it just seemed like to me, Ronald Jones, you know, it seemed like the other running backs did a much better job, and it seemed like the Ravens did a much better job in the fourth quarter, making the plays that they had to, making the plays that was necessary to close out this game. And obviously, the Jets are going to end up losing this game 27-28, and they're going to head into the bye week 4-4. And I know, guys, the big discussion in the comment section probably would be about the pitch. Did I want to somewhat pitch back? Maybe my truth of thoughts, maybe this is that, but I thought someone else was going to be behind me, but I also didn't think that I thought I would at least be in front of somebody by that point, and someone else would be behind me. Just poorly executed. I did want to try to set up a lateral, and also I didn't really hit the button at the right time. I just kind of just was thinking and then my finger just hit it, you know. But it just wasn't a great idea to begin with. But I mean, I kind of just threw away this football game, you know, in a way. But I don't really think that was really the main reason why we lost. Obviously, it was one of the biggest reasons. But that possession where Lamar Jackson threw the interception, and it was intercepted by Marcus Williams, and when we didn't get any, and we weren't able to get a single point out of that drive, I thought that was the drive that pretty much lost us the game. And Owen deserves a lot of blame for that, you know, for the delayed game, and then later on the delayed game, and then after that, the second pass wasn't Owen's fault. It was a dropped pass from Justice Jackson, which I don't know how much more playing time he's gonna get. You know, I understand he's young and all that, which is helping him get on the field. But if he was a second and third year player, I think we might just send him down to the practice squad. But you know, it is what it is. We got to move on. You know, the Giants ended up beating the Eagles. You know, the Packers ended up beating the Bucks. The Panthers ended up beating the Jags. Josh Allen and them went to Denver to beat the Broncos. And the Chiefs, 300 yards for Patrick Mahomes, a phenomenal day. He's having another phenomenal season, and they beat the Colts. That's gonna be it for the scores around the league. Next week will be the bye week, and that will be a separate video. I hope you guys like the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.